Welcome into Extra Time. Just the three of us here tonight. Sally Moreno, Stevie, Nicol and Kay Murray.
I'm pleased about that.
I'm pleased about it. When I see you two on my schedule, I'm always happy.
Hey, well, there you go.
It is a year to the day since Paul Mariner passed, and sadly, I never got to meet him, but fortunately, Stevie and the guy... I didn't. Matteo did, but I never got to.
You missed out.
Once met and never forgotten.
I know.
Let me tell you.
That's what it seemed. But I still hear wonderful stories from all of you. And it seems as though our viewers miss those stories too, because the first question tonight is from Riley, the big golden doodle. And they say, we all miss Paul and the joy he brought every time he was on air. Stevie, do you have any fun stories about Paul you could tell us? Do you remember the first time you met him?
Oh, right.
Fun stories,
well,
let me see.
Yeah. There's a lot of them I can't tell you.
Well, you've told me a few.
Well, I played it. The first time I met Paul, I played against him. And then the second time I met him was when he came to John Kerr, who used to be my boss at the Boston Bulldogs, then got the Harvard job. And he brought Paul to be his assistant at Harvard. And so once he did that, then we met up and we had a few pints. And just from the very get-go, him and I we just had to carry on. You know, talking about all the guys that we used to play with, all the stories about different players. I mean, John was sat there, but he wasn't even in the conversation. It was just Paul and I.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great for you.
It's a cup of tea, by the way.
That's just, I can tell you exactly when that is. It's just after half-time. And we've basically, I'm going to tell you, but before that, we probably turned around and went, we've got no chance today. And then started drinking a cup of tea again. Anyway, so what happened was when I needed my old assistant, Mark Driver, was leaving. And as soon as he said to me, I'm leaving, I thought, I know the guy. And so I called up John Kerr, who was Paul's boss at Harvard, and said, hey, listen, I hope you don't mind, but I'd love if he could be my assistant. I said, do you mind if I called him? And he goes, aye, sure. He said, I'll tell you what I'll do. He said, I'll speak to him. And then there was an Irish pub in Boston. He said, and I'll arrange for you to meet up. I went, perfect. So John calls me, he goes, yeah. He said, he'll meet you tomorrow, 1 o'clock in this pub in Boston. I was like, ah, brilliant. So I get there, and Paul walks in, and as he's walking in, he's doing this. I'm thinking, what's he doing? And he comes in and he sits down and I'm like, how are you doing? And he's like, he didn't really say an awful lot. I was like, can I get you a drink? So he's like, I'll have a pint. So we got 2 pints. I'm thinking, something all right here. So I sits down and goes, you all right? And he went, no, I'm not. I went, what do you mean? He goes, is this a wind-up? I went, what do you mean? He goes, if Kerr's got anything to do with this, it's a wind-up. He said, is he hiding somewhere? I'm like, no, what are you talking about? I said, look, I'm here to offer you the job as my assistant. And he went, right, I'll take it, as long as it's not a wind-up. So if Kerr's hiding somewhere, shout him out and tell him to come out now. I'm like, he's not here. There's nobody here. And he went, right, I'll take it then. I'm like, oh God, that's a great, isn't it?
But hang on a minute. You knew just from that meeting before that that's who you'd want as your number 2.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Aye, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, knows what he's talking about, knows a proper player, understands that it's not just about coaching, it's about the relationships you have with people. And every person that I know that had ever met Paul had nothing good and nothing but great things to say, not just about his knowledge of the game, but how much fun he was. And the only thing that worried me initially when I was driving home afterwards, I'm thinking, I like a bit of fun myself. I don't know whether this is a good idea.
You needed some balance.
I was like, oh, maybe this is not a good partnership, but no, we got it right. We had a great laugh. We had a great laugh with the boys. The boys loved them, and I knew they would love them. So, no, it was fantastic.
Do you know what? If you want more Paul Mariner stories, go and check out. Dan posted today the show you all did a year ago. It's beautiful. It's bittersweet. Go and check out Dan's tweet on Twitter today, and you'll get lots more Paul Mariner stories. All right, for Stevie and Ale, would a Neymar CR7 swap deal be beneficial to PSG and Manchester United, including the players themselves? Which player would find it easier to adapt to their new club, Ale?
I'm going to be very succinct about this. No. And no. And no. I don't like it for Manchester United. I don't like it for PSG. I don't like it for Neymar. And I certainly don't like it for Ronaldo. No, on all accounts.
We'll move on then.
No, I think it'd be good for PSG. You know, the one thing, or one of the problems that PSG will have, if you've got Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, is they don't have a centre forward. You know, everybody wants to be getting the ball short, and at least if you've got Ronaldo, you've got a centre forward. You've got a guy who's going to be more than happy to be up front. So I think for PSG it'd be great. For Manchester United, it'd be an absolute shocker. It'd be an absolute disaster. But I think it'd be all right for PSG.
I don't see it that way. PSG doesn't struggle scoring goals. That's not their issue.
We were just already talking about how top-heavy they are.
Yeah, they don't struggle scoring goals. That's not their issue. Well, that's top heavy. See, that's the top side.
Okay.
Got heavy.
If the forwards and the defence were on the scale.
Have you ever thought of taking up coaching?
Hey, she shows up, pre-game speech. Hey guys, we don't want to be top heavy.
Okay, that's top heavy.
Listen, I'm best mates with Emma Hayes now. She could be my coach. I'll just be the number 2 doing all this.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's ideal, but at least it would make some sort of sense.
Okay. You know what I meant?
I had no idea what you were talking about. No, I didn't. None at all.
If there was some scale,
right.
Well, you should have said that first.
See, I think what happened, Kay, is that your initial move was not showing us the scale.
Yeah.
Right? You went straight to top heavy.
You just assume. Never assume.
Because we know what it does.
Wow.
All right. For Ale, do you think Frank Kessie is good enough to be a long-term replacement for Sergio Busquets?
Two different type of players, and that is something that a lot of fans have been talking about. Is okay, this is going to be the answer to Sergio Busquets as he gets older, that Frank Kessie is going to take over that position. That's not what he does. He's not that kind of player. Frank Kessie is a guy that, can maintain possession of the ball through the midfield, but he wants to be in the attacking half. He's a box-to-box guy and wants to participate in the attacking half. He's not the guy to just get the ball from the center backs and distribute the ball forward. That's not what he does.
All right. Did you ever advise any other players on transfers, and did they take your advice on board? Stevie?
Yeah, Clint Dempsey. Everton had spoken to Clint, and Clint was driven. He just wanted to play, and as soon as Everton had been in touch with him, he just wanted to go. And so he was coming to Paul and I going, look, I just want to go. I just want to go and play. And we're like, look, our owners want to win MLS Cup. I said, if you stay with us for the rest of the year and we can maybe win MLS Cup, and even if we don't, then we're absolutely going to be in your corner to try and persuade them to let you go. I said, the other thing you've got to remember, Clint, is, okay, Everton's come in for you, but there's going to be other teams as well. It's not just going to be Everton and then that's it. Nobody else is going to look at you. I said, there'll be a barrel load of teams wanting to sign you. I said, so just cool your jets, keep playing, forget about all this, the transfer stuff. I said, because it's going to happen. If you don't go to Everton now, that's not the end. That doesn't mean you're never, ever going to go and play in the Premier League. I said, because there are absolutely 100% plenty of teams that want you. And he took it on board, and it didn't affect him for the rest of the year. And at the end of the year, he got his move, and the Crafts understood that, this was a huge thing for him, and let him go.
Thanks to Stevie. Nicol.
I mean, see that.
Well, he trusted Paul. He trusted Paul and I. That was. I think that was the key to it all. He trusted. Well, we always trusted what we said to him, And I think that was part of it. He believed that what we were saying was the right thing.
And a player, by the way, Clint Dempsey, that at least in playing against him and in the few interactions that I had with him, never came across as a guy who really trusted anybody.
Right.
And it was part of what drove him, that edge with which he played. And so for him to trust Stevie and Paul, I think it speaks volume as to what these guys were able to do as a partnership in the coaching staff.
I remember when you told the story of when you were watching Clint, and as you watched it unfold and got to see what a great player he was and the determination he had as well.
Yeah, that was the first thing I saw. I didn't see any fancy football or anything like that. I just saw a guy that was bothered. Every single thing that happened, and these were just friendly games. This wasn't, you know, but it bothered them when he got a bad ball, or somebody didn't give him it, or if he gave a bad ball, or he did something wrong. It just stuck out. It bothered them big time. I thought, I like that.
Ale, did you ever advise any other players on transfers?
We were in preparation for Copa America 2011. The preparation was in Dallas initially, and Jose Salomon Rondon at the time was playing in Malaga, I believe, in Spain. And there were a bunch of teams, because he had done well that season, there were a bunch of teams, and he must have been maybe 20, 21 years old at that time. Seemingly, he was having conversations with his agent on a nightly basis, and he was my roommate. It wasn't so much an advice as much as it was what the values of the players were at the time. And the conversations that he was having with his agent and the conversations that I was having were two different conversations. And he was, I think at the time, was being offered to go to Rubin Kazan, and it was in the tens of millions, which right now people would say, well, how much could that possibly be? But we're talking about, this is 10 years ago, and we're talking about a Venezuelan player at the international level that we were not highly valued nor highly thought of as players around the world or in the market. So for that money to be available, and he's having the conversation, and they're throwing this money around, I'm thinking to myself, take it, take it, take it, go, take it, take it, take it. But I think eventually he ended up going to Rubin Kazan and play there for a couple seasons, and eventually found his way back to the Premier League.
Look at these two influencing the way football turned out.
I want to get that on the CV. Influencer.
Yeah. Stevie is an influencer.
I hate that. You know when you got all these people, so-and-so, actress, influencer. What's that mean?
Is that what you are?
I guess so.
You do love TikTok. You love all the viral videos.
I know.
You could be a hashtag influencer.
Influencer. Analyst and influencer.
No. There's a lot more to lose than to gain there, Stevie, for you.
I don't know. I quite like the idea.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Do you know what?
For the first few times, and then it will come crash down.
Do you know what? I'm going to throw a philanthropist
People keep asking me where I got my...
I'm going to...
For those of you asking where I got my jacket...
Yeah. Do you think I could get away with I can't even say it. What? I don't know, another go at this. Philanthropist. Hey, influencer and philanthropist. I can't even say it. I said it as well, but earlier.
Go ahead. I believe in you.
Philanthropist.
Hey!
That's the last time I'm going to attempt it.
Influencer.
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 Influenza.
Yeah, right, let's move on. Okay. Best unintentionally scored goal you witnessed in your playing days?
Oh, I scored with my backside once. Yeah, that was beautiful. And I was having that role, that thankless role of a corner kick or a set piece where you're the guy on the goalkeeper, right? I mean, you're not going to get on the anything unless something just kind of bounces there inside the 6-yard box, which we established is my kind of range anyway. In any case, I happen to be pushed off of the goalkeeper by the defender. There's a header behind me. I'm not even seeing the ball because the ball has gone over me. And then all I felt was the ball came my way, backside, and then, hey, I went and celebrated. That's my goal. I don't care what anybody says.
Love it, love it. Stevie?
Kind of thing, yeah.
No? All right. Well, you can pick Ale's then.
Right.
Ali's booty goal.
Yeah.
All right.
What he said.
Stevie and Ali, if you were cornered in a bar by some angry football fans after an embarrassing loss and they threatened to get physical, which 3 footballers, past or present, would you confidently call upon to defend you?
Oh, big Billy Whitehurst. No danger, Billy Whitehurst. Tell you 2 things with Billy. So Billy Whitehurst was the centre forward, right? And the first time we played against him was in the FA Cup for Liverpool against Oxford. Now, Billy was just an animal. And before the game started, Alan Hansen said to me, he said, oh no, he said, I've just seen the team sheet, Billy's playing. He's like, oh God. Anyway, we start the game. After about 20 minutes, Billy goes for the ball, goes down, blood is spotting outside of his head. Spotting outside of his head. Goes off, Big Al turns to me and goes, thank God we see the last of him. Honestly, 5 minutes later, Billy came on with the biggest bandage you've ever seen on your head. And I've turned to Hansen and went, hey, all the best. He's like, oh no. Anyway, this is what Billy was like. Oxford went on a golf day. And Billy, there was nothing, everything was harsh about him. He was rough, tough, everyone was just harsh. So they're playing golf and he's carrying his bag. And Billy's walking around, going on the green, just dropping his bag, like not putting it down, just dropping his bag on the green and then potting and then picking his bag up again. So he gets to about the 10th hole and there's a greenkeeper's been watching him. So the greenkeeper comes over to him on this green and says, excuse me. Billy's like, ah, what? He went, you do not put your bag on the green. You leave your bag off the green. You're going to ruin the green and you're going to mark the green. And Billy went, who are you? He went, I'm the greenskeeper. And Billy walked over, picked this guy up with 2 hands, above his head, went over to the side of the green where the bunker was and threw him in the bunker. And then walked off. That was Big Billy.
Okay, so do you need anyone with Billy, or is that
Oh, no, Billy's fine.
all right?
I'll just have Billy.
Stevie's got Billy. Sounds like that's all he's going to need.
I'll take Billy too. Give me Billy.
Would you like to add anyone, Ale? No?
Billy.
Billy. All right, I think we've established that you're
Honestly,
gonna be
you've got to
absolutely
look
fine
him
with
up, Billy Whitehurst.
I'm imagining him like Jaws out of James Bond now.
Oh my goodness, what a man. Complete beast.
In general terms, you need to pick somebody who things are not quite connecting up here. Who, when you look at them, their eyes are not connecting with you, and you know that there are things going on in that head that you will never understand. Those are the guys that will help you in a fight.
Okay, well, we've established Billy's going to be the one. All right. Ali, who's your MVP so far in MLS?
Oh, my goodness. No, it's interesting. We have mentioned a lot about LAFC and Chiellini and Vela. We'll mention Gareth Bale, of course. And I think perhaps their most important player in the attack, Vela has been injured a lot of the season, is actually Cristian Chicho Arango. I don't know whether he's the MVP, but he has been critically important for their success in the attack. So for as much as these guys will come in and certainly will play a role and certainly will play a major part, up until this point, you've needed a lot of the Arango goals in order for LAFC to be in the position that they're in. He probably wouldn't be the MVP because they have a lot of good players around in that team, but it's a name that I think sort of gets lost in the shuffle because of all the excitement coming in with the new big-timers in LAFC.
Nice. All right. Stevie, your mind is transported into the body of an MLS defender in 2008, and you're defending against the Columbus Crew star striker, Alejandro Moreno. How do you go about it, and are you getting sent off?
Not a chance. Sent off? No chance. Stand off him. Just stand off him. Because if he doesn't feel you, he can't fall over. He can't get free kicks.
Are you saying that's all there was to LA's game?
I'm not saying that's all there was, but that was...
Sounded a lot like that. That's all I...
Well, let's just think of... When I think Alan Moreno, I think about everybody moaning about all the free kicks he gets. But I look at it the other way. How smart was he? And how dumb were they? Do you know what I mean? There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, as they say, and that's what he did. He used his brains. He might not have been the fastest.
Here we go.
I'll stop at that. But he used his brains. You know, football. Half of football is about what goes on between your ears, and he used every ounce of his brains to just get the rod out, reel in all these numpties that would foul him 25 yards out, and then of course they would turn it over to somebody else and he'd stick it in the top corner. He's done his job.
I think that was a compliment, Ale.
Well, I'll take it. It was there. It was in between the lines.
No, well, what he would do, what he was really good at, whether it was what I'm talking about falling over, is, you know, you needed somebody to hold the ball up so you could get out. And so what he did really well was he would hold the ball up, and then everybody would join in. Now, whether that was everybody getting up because he got a free kick, or just holding it up long enough to get everybody out, and then he would let it go, and then off he would go. I mean, it's a skill. And it's a skill that not enough people have.
Yeah. See, now that was a compliment there.
Aye.
I'll take that. Because see, the hold-up play is an art that is quickly disappearing in the game. The ability to play with your back to goal. And I wasn't the biggest guy, but I was big the wrong way, where I could use sort of this turtle shell, if you will, to just put the ball in front of me, and it was difficult to get around me. And Stevie's exactly right. That was the strength of my game. Yeah. Holding it up, lay it off, and then get into the box and trying to get on the end of something as the ball was being played into the box.
And it's actually, it's disappointing because it's a dying art, like a lot of things. Kids today, and certainly coaches, it seems like probably it's the coach's fault, that it's as if it's not that important anymore. It's more important that, oh, you'd lovely pass the ball around the back and do this and do that. You know, there are certain things in the game that will always be needed, regardless of whether it's 1920 or 2022. And that's one of the things that's disappearing, is people holding the ball. Why do you think Firmino's so good? I mean, look at Bobby Firmino. You know, we complain about he doesn't score goals, but I'll tell you what, you play the ball up, sticks, gets everybody up. Now you're playing, now you're at the opposition. So, yeah, no, it's an art.
And you know what else, just as a player who did that job, when you hear the false nine, and when you hear big teams saying that they don't need that focal point in the attack, that out-and-out striker, that we can just rotate players in and out of that position, I mean, it hurts me to the core. Because you're essentially saying you wouldn't have needed a player like me. Not me necessarily, but a player like me to do that job for you. And I think teams miss out when they don't have somebody who can actually hold the ball up.
You know what, we're going to end it here because it's not often our panellists are nice about one another. And they just have been.
Oh, well.
There we go.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.